Hello, everyone, and happy Friday. This is Inside the Newsroom, and I'm your host, Maddie Paul. Inside the Newsroom, we are bringing you the trending stories of the KELOLAND area. And best of all, my favorite part, especially on a happy Friday, we're going to bring in our newsroom staff members to talk about these stories that you see every day on our newscasts and online at KELOLAND.com. Feeling a little chilly outside today, so I brought back the big old white coat. You're going to be seeing this a lot. If I'm feeling cold, you'll know it because you'll see the white coat on. But we have a lot of stories to get to today. It's very exciting going into the weekend when you have the pheasant hunting opener, when you have the KELOLAND Living Arts and Crafts show, when you have Boredom Busters to watch tonight at 5:30 and tomorrow morning. We'll get to all that in a second. But let's start to our big trending story of the day. The opportunity to use artificial intelligence is everywhere. However, the technology requires large data centers to operate, and the possibility of these facilities finding a home in South Dakota is now part of the race for the governor's office in 2026. Dan Santella spoke to the gubernatorial candidates to find out what are their thoughts.
Data centers, like these in Virginia, are part of the modern American landscape. Dusty Johnson envisions them coming to South Dakota and paying property and sales taxes.
This would be a huge opportunity for us to lower that tax burden on South Dakotans. But right now, we are simply not going to build any data centers in this state because our laws are not a good fit for them.
Data centers utilize considerable quantities of power and water. Some could actually demand more electricity than a community the size of New Orleans or Pittsburgh. For their parts, Toby Doeden and John Hansen are clear on how they view artificial intelligence.
And I think the United States should be at the forefront of AI. I think the United States should dominate the development of AI and data centers. I genuinely do. I have said from the beginning of my campaign, Dan, that my focus is putting South Dakota first.
I absolutely welcome new business and innovation that brings jobs and growth to our communities and provides opportunities for our kids to find good work and stay in South Dakota. And, the president is right when he says that AI is going to change the world.
Johnson wants companies interested in building a data center in South Dakota to pay less in state taxes or no state taxes on electronic equipment. But he says a company intending to build a data center would have to prove a few things within his plan.
They're not going to have any negative impact on electric users, existing South Dakota electric ratepayers. Number two, they're not going to have any negative impact on water users in the area. Number three, that they are going to pay substantial taxes. And then number four, they are going to create good jobs.
But on the question of how data centers could come to South Dakota, Hansen and Doeden have similar thoughts.
These data centers, by the way, are owned by some of the world's richest tech billionaires. They're coming here and they're pushing for these massive state tax breaks. And I'm not for that.
We ought not be using taxpayer subsidies to fund these data centers in South Dakota on the backs of hardworking, tax-paying South Dakotans that are already struggling to pay their bills.
And Dan Santella joins us at the digital desk to talk more about this important story. Dan, we saw the 3 video interviews in this story, but I'm just kind of curious, did you get to hear from any other gubernatorial candidates too?
Yep, I reached out to the only announced Democratic candidate, Robert Arnold, in Pierre. I sent him an email, and he responded by email, so I included what he had to say. And then the there's also an independent candidate, Terry Gleason. I called him and chatted with him briefly on the phone. There's not yet a contested Democratic primary. There's only one candidate, and then we only have that one announced independent candidate. With a contested GOP primary, 3 candidates. I did, as you see, focus a bit more on them in the story.
And how did you form this story angle? What was the pitches like in the newsroom that was like, okay, this is the angle that we're going to take for your story?
I heard from Dusty Johnson that this is an idea he had, and he wanted to talk about it. And I said, great. And we set up a time for an interview. And, of course, then I interviewed the other candidates for the GOP's nomination in South Dakota in 2026. So once that, learned that this is something that Johnson wanted to talk about, then I reached out to John Hansen and to Toby Doeden, and we quickly set up those Zooms. And yeah, that's kind of how it quickly came to fruition.
And were you surprised by any of their answers?
Not necessarily. The whole issue of AI and data centers touches on a lot of issues that can be quite important to different political constituencies, right? There are economic questions. There are environmental questions. There are states' rights questions. There are local control questions. There are social questions. It kind of runs the gamut. And so, no, not necessarily surprised. Interested to hear what they had to say. Of course, it is a political question, and there will be jockeying to stake out different stances amongst the candidates. You know, it's, well, shoot, we have 7 or 8 months away from the GOP primary, rather the primary, the 2026 election, and that's not that far away. And we're certainly reminded of that in the whole tenor of this race and others.
Since this story has been published, what is something, in your opinion, that's kind of been sticking with you about this topic in this story?
That it's going to be an ongoing conversation, and reading more. I was not terribly well informed about data centers before the story yesterday, so I was reading a lot about it and doing research ahead of the interviews. And I do think that this is going to be an ongoing discussion. Obviously, AI is not going anywhere.
Yeah.
You know, it's only going to be further and further prevalent in modern American society. And if you got AI, you're going to need data centers. And so this is going to be an ongoing conversation. We're seeing the conversation elsewhere in the United States. And it's only going to press on. I think it's going to be something that people continue to talk about. You can't even Google anything these days without having the option to utilize AI.
True.
That's just one example of its prevalence.
I have kind of a big idea question for you here. If you could go back on this story or update it for the future, what kind of angle would you like to focus on the most?
I can't really think I would change it, really, Yeah, I think I was happy I got equal time in their story and thoughts from the 3 candidates in the contested election. And obviously I want to learn more about their current issues and dynamics of AI and data centers, but it was important, I think, also not to get too down in the weeds on that. Just kind of touch on it from the macro level, because the thrust of the story is not what is AI or why does it need data centers. The thrust of the story is what do candidates have to say about data centers potentially coming to South Dakota.
And do you think that story could be fleshed out more as we get closer to the election?
Oh, yeah. It absolutely could. And I think it definitely could be. We'll see. And I think, while the primary in early June is not that far away, it's still far enough away where we probably don't yet have an exact grasp on what will be the big topics, right? When voters go to the polls and pick Johnson or Doeden or Hansen, just to give one example, one race, we probably don't know yet exactly what will drive them, and what would be the big motivating issues. This could be one of them. It might not be. That'll start to come into focus in the next few months.
Is there anything else that you would like viewers to know about creating this story, or anything that you hope that they take away from it?
I hope that they know it's in a race where we have so many different candidates. It's important to reach out to all of them. We want to help people be informed on how they might cast a ballot. 2026 is going to be a tremendously busy year for this newsroom.
For you too, definitely for you.
And the leading up to the primary, we have so many contested races in South Dakota, and so many that are going to be that primary is going to be huge. And of course, then we have the general election.
Yeah.
After that, so we're going to be doing a lot of stories where we're talking to candidates, and it's part of our jobs, and it's something I think it's important to do, and that's going to largely define a lot of our reporting, especially in the first half of 2026.
And you're kind of focusing on this for your report tonight. What are you working on tonight?
Well, I also asked about campaign finance and the frequency with which we get updates on state races. So the genesis of this was we were just chatting in our newsroom at our daily 9:15 meeting, and we brought up how we had an update on the U.S. House race in South Dakota and finances that the candidates have, but we haven't had an update on the gubernatorial race and how much money the candidates have outside of Dusty Johnson and his federal money. But, we don't know how much Toby Doeden has spent. We don't know how much John Hansen has spent, money in the bank, questions like that. And it's like, well, we're not going to get that till, I believe, January/February, and then we're going to get it again, not again until mid 2026. So that clashes with federal races. We get them quarterly, and so wondering what do candidates have to say about this, And they had some thoughts, which is interesting. Johnson, Doeden, and Hansen. And they're the three, there's not yet a contested Democratic primary. And of course, independents, they don't have a primary. But so we'll be focusing on the contested primary and its candidates say for this story. So those three GOP candidates, their thoughts on campaign finance and especially the frequency with which voters get updates in South Dakota on state elections.
Well, I'm looking forward to the report. Thank you for being here with those details, Dan, and we'll look forward to your report tonight on KELOLAND News.
Thank you, Maddie.
Thank you. And everyone stay with us. We still have lots of trending stories to get to for Inside the Newsroom. And up next, we're prepping for the KELOLAND Living Arts and Crafts Show when we come back after the break. Stay with us for Inside the Newsroom. And welcome back to Inside the Newsroom. Arts and crafts fans, listen up. You have to gather at a special event in Sioux Falls. In fact, Summer Roddershot gives us a glimpse of what we can expect from the KELOLAND Living Arts and Crafts Show.
Chad Durfee has been selling home decor signs for over a decade.
We make a ton of home decor signs, something that will go in almost every room of the house. Something for the bathroom, something for the garage with the man caves. We also do a lot of veteran signs, military-affiliated things with the Army, Navy, Air Force, Marines.
He will be just one of over 70 vendors at this year's KELOLAND Living Arts and Crafts Show.
Everybody's there. There are so many booths and fun, cool things to see. And the people there are big fans of KELOLAND Living. And it's a great time that we all get together and celebrate the KELOLAND Living Arts and Crafts Show.
It's so much fun just to get to walk around and get inspired by everything everybody's doing, but then not have to do it yourself. You can just buy it from them.
With this year's show providing even more variety than before.
When you walk around, you're going to have those people that you're always looking for. The quilting, the alpacas are back. But then you're also going to see some new vendors. We have a woman who does hand-painted furniture that we've never had and curates an entire collection of upcycled things. So it's really going to be a fun time to explore and see new things.
Giving people all the more reason to come to the show.
I hope they come out and just see all the wonderful people and the crafters that do things. And, we love the part about people coming into our booth is the laughter. The laughter that we get from our signs and creating things spreads kind of that joy around the whole facility.
The reason I love this show so much is because I'm always looking for gifts at the last minute for people for Christmas. And I'm telling you, if you want to find a gift for that's hard to buy people, this is the place to go.
I agree with that. Mitchell nailed it with that one. Sorry, he really did. Because that's what I love about arts and crafts shows, especially when there's local vendors around. Mm-hmm. There's just the whole wall that you can just go through as you're walking around. So you get your steps in. And then if you're indecisive like me, there's a variety. So you're able to find something if you're early holiday shopping. So I appreciate Mitchell kind of owning up to that.
Oh, yeah.
Recognizing it too.
Because, okay, Christmas is like 69-ish days away from today. And, I know, okay, that's, over 2 months. But, that's going to creep up on you so quickly.
Once Halloween is over,
exactly.
It's done. Done.
No, exactly. It's and here's the deal. We all have that super hard person to buy for. I probably have 5 super hard people to buy for. And you never know what to get them. But walking through this, even today when I walked through it, because I got to go there a little bit before everybody else was, I'm like, that's a good idea. That's a good idea. That's a good idea.
You're like, when I come back over here,
literally,
now I know what to get.
Got to bring back my cash.
Yeah, I was gonna ask actually, when you go out there later today, are you gonna go shopping for sure?
I'm definitely gonna keep my eyes open. I think if I go shopping, it's probably gonna be actually Saturday. We'll see, but I'm definitely keeping my eyes open because I'm like, I saw the cutest little journal today. Ooh. They're these handmade journals and it's all customized and I'm like, that's so cute. And there's just something for everybody.
And you've covered this before in the past, the KELOLAND Living Arts and Crafts Show. So what do you look forward to each year when you're able to go out for work or just for your own personal fun?
It's so fun to see all of these different vendors there. I think they said that, there's over 70, upwards of possibly 77 vendors there. And they just all have this unique stuff. One of the people I talked to today had this Millennium Falcon cribbage set game thing. And it's just stuff you wouldn't think of. But like I said, it gives me like so many different ideas, and it's so cool. It's so cool to see it all and to see how other people like set up all of their different stuff, because some people have flashing lights. Some people, it's just like a regular booth, but like people try to make it interesting. Somebody's like incorporating arts and crafts into their booth this year to give people like more of a hands-on thing to do. So it's literally anything you can think of is probably there.
And what's it like for you to have to interview your coworkers for a story like this?
It's so Mitchell and Ashley are so much fun.
Yeah.
I love being able to work with them and getting the excuse to interview them for work. And so, it was a lot of fun. We talked a lot before and after, and I think I'm even getting to talk to Mitchell a little bit today. So it's great. But then we also tried to tie in, with yesterday's story. We tried to tie in also one of those other vendors also to be like, okay, we're telling you, Mitchell and Ashley like the show. Obviously, it's the KELOLAND Living Arts and Crafts show, but vendors also love it.
Yeah. And is that kind of your focus today? Because you're still going to be at the Arts and Crafts show. So what are you working on for today? Because you're going to be doing lots of coverage today.
It's a lot of coverage. But yeah, today I'm just talking to vendors and I'm seeing, what do you guys like about the show? Tell me about your unique items so that, I can tell you they have unique items all day. But when you hear the people talk about it that are passionate about it and you see it, it's a whole different story. So yeah, I'm talking to a lot of vendors today about, how the KELOLAND Living Arts and Crafts show is actually unique.
Wow. Super exciting to see your reports come out tonight. But also we had Ashley and Mitchell come on for Boredom Busters that will be airing tonight and tomorrow morning. So Summer and viewers, I'd like to show you a little preview about what you can see today for Boredom Busters. Here it is. What is trapeze? When we're talking about it, what should people be visualizing in their head right now?
Yeah, so I actually brought one with me, so I'm going to bring it up here. It's really tall, so I can only show so much, but it is a big metal bar.
We can hook it up somewhere around here.
The higher, the better.
There we go.
If someone like Perry and I were to come to this event, is this something that Perry and I would be doing?
So this is a little bit more advanced that I have on the video.
Are you going to be doing hands-on stuff at the show then too?
No, they don't want us to
live performances.
We thought about having a whole desk of all the projects we've never finished.
Right.
Oh,
that would
that's
be
funny.
all a big desk
Yeah.
because we have a lot of unfinished projects.
And it's no coincidence that this is taking place on the opening weekend of pheasant season in South Dakota.
Well, we were both bummed about that.
Yeah, we really were. We wanted to get out there and shoot our birds, but we're going to do some arts and crafts instead.
Arts and crafts instead of a pheasant hunting opener. Too bad. So sad for Mitchell and Ashley. But
I
that's a
know.
little preview about what you can watch for Boredom Busters. You interested, Summer?
Oh, I'm definitely interested. Are you kidding me? And like they mentioned, it's the perfect opportunity. If all your buddies are out hunting, but that's not really your thing, we got something else to fill your weekend.
Because I'd have to look at times again. Look for the times on Boredom Busters if you need it. But I know that it takes place pretty much almost all day, on Saturday at least. And then tonight, it wraps up at like 4:30?
So to note, today is from noon until 7:30.
Oh, okay.
And then tomorrow is from 9 a.m. to 4:30.
That's what I've
been working really hard on the times in my head. So
you do your live shots. That's what it's going to be.
Yep, exactly.
Well, Summer, anything else that we should talk about for the KELOLAND Living Arts and Crafts show?
Oh, yes. So if you if you haven't bought your ticket yet, if you bring out a hygiene item from the McCrossin Boys Ranch, you can get $1 off your ticket. So that is one thing that's very important, that if you want to, help somebody out and get, who doesn't love a good discount, You can bring out something, donate to them, get a little discount, and then get all the arts and crafts that you need.
Wonderful. Summer, thank you so much for being here at the digital desk, and have fun working and being at the Arts and Crafts show.
I know, right? Working or shopping? We'll never know.
Well, both. Yeah, we'll find you. Find her. Go let me know what she's going to be doing. And make sure you watch Boredom Busters tonight on KELOLAND Plus at 5:30. But then if you miss it tonight, no problem. It will be on demand on the KELOLAND Plus app, or you can watch tomorrow morning at 8 in the morning on KELOLAND Plus. But stay with us. We're going to have Brian Karstens join us after the break because we need a little forecast when we're going out pheasant hunting. Stay with us. And welcome back to Inside the Newsroom. I know I always show Scott Munt a lot of love on Inside the Newsroom, but today we're switching it up because Brian Karstens also deserves some love. Brian, thank you for being here because it's a very important weekend for all. I mean, I'm not a hunter. I've shot a gun before, but only at like non-living targets.
You've been to the shooting range, right?
Yes,
Practiced
I've been to
up?
a shooting. Yep, exactly. And that was a lot of fun. But this is a very important weekend for some, especially in South Dakota with the pheasant hunting opener starting. So we need to know, what's the weather going to be like?
Yep, it comes and goes every year. We go through these things. So, yeah, let's talk about that. First of all, the pheasant opener, the main takeaway is that the wind is going to come up tomorrow. I know that's always a talker when the wind is a little higher. I think right now most of our areas west of Sioux Falls will probably peak at 30, maybe gusts 35 in the afternoon. So that is a factor. And also a little rain that's going to come in. And we talked about this during the morning show and actually a little bit on whether or not, too. That'll be coming up. We're going to get to that story. But the thing about the forecast is the showers tomorrow, they're not going to wash out the day. It's not like that at all. It's just going to be a period of some showers that'll kind of truck along. My recommendation, as always, have the Storm Tracker app.
Okay.
Got a great tool there. You can just download the app and pinpoint the weather for your location. It'll follow along with that chance of rain. Thinking right now, the hourly forecast in Sioux Falls, probably midday tomorrow, looks pretty likely we'll have showers. So if you kind of back that up to, say, Redfield, pretty popular area for pheasant hunting. You pick a spot. There's so many, right? Everybody's got a little thing, and we want those hunters to be obviously as they're going to their place and their destination. Hopefully, the weather will cooperate. And I think it will. It's just we got to be mindful of 50s tomorrow, windy at times, and a period of showers that'll roll in during the morning. But here, this could roll in and roll out even well before 10 o'clock in the morning.
Oh, wow.
So,
okay. I have a question for you, Brian. Are you, if you had to have these two options, I'm going to present you two options, okay? You have to pick one of them. Would you be much more of a pheasant hunter, or would you be stay indoors and go to the KELOLAND Living Arts and Crafts show? Which one would you choose?
I like the idea of going pheasant hunting. My son really, we just haven't gotten to it, and I feel kind of bad. We need to just do this. We live in South Dakota, after all. But here's the deal. No, I'm probably, the arts and crafts, that's fine too. I'm probably somewhere in between or not, they're great. I think they're going to, obviously they're both wonderful things, right? Because people want to do the outdoor stuff. The pheasant hunters are going to be busy. And those that don't like that, then you got the arts and crafts, right? And I've been to that. It's been a while, but great crowd, great things going on there. So, I'm just kind of in the middle there.
Yeah, you're
Maddie.
Switzerland.
I am. I'm a little bit in the
Sweden,
middle.
that's what it is.
But I hope that everybody has a good weekend and you find something that you like to do. And I'll find a thing or two to do. I'm sure of that.
Good. I'm glad, Brian. Thank you so much for being here to tell us about what it's going to be looking like this weekend and giving us a little inside scoop about whether you're a hunter or an art shopper. Appreciate your time. Thanks, Brian.
You're welcome.
And that's all the time that we have for Inside the Newsroom today. Thank you all for watching. Enjoy your weekend, whether you're going to go outside, whether you're going to watch Boredom Busters tonight on Friday or tomorrow morning on Saturday, and then just go out to the KELOLAND Living Arts and Crafts show. It's going to be a lot of fun. Enjoy your weekend, and until Monday, have a great weekend, everyone.